Welcome back, happy hookers. Top prize for guessing what's in front of you. Well, you already know because you've seen the title card. Yes, it is a crochet scrunchie. I mean, if you're lucky enough like me to have been around for the original scrunchie craze, then you'll be as delighted as I am to see that scrunchies have been back and hopefully are back to stay. And what better than a crochet scrunchie? So I can definitely say that my Easter break has been taken up by making lots of scrunchies and also lots of cute little coasters or plant pot holders, and if you're interested I'll pop a link over to these bad boys. So the crochet scrunchie, dead easy. Bobble, hook, and you guessed it, some yarn. So I'm currently absolutely, if you see my other videos, in love with Sidar #1 Chunky. It is so lovely and creamy and works perfectly with a size 5 hook to create just about everything. So I know that my Wool Warehouse cart is going to be exploding as I order lots of colours. So the scrunchie pattern that I have created, and there's plenty out there on the internet, uses 2 stitches. The half double crochet, my all-time favourite stitch ever. I think I'm going to have to get myself a hoodie with that on. And the double crochet. So if you're familiar with these, let's crack on. If you are a complete newbie, I would recommend checking out how to do a half double and a double, and I'll pop a couple of cards up in a couple of seconds now. Oh, I love it when people point and they pop up to the double crochet. However, I will go pretty slow, so you probably will get the gist of it. So the first thing you need to do is you need to attach your yarn to your scrunchie, to your bubble. And then what you're going to do is you're going to want to create yourself a loop. So the way I do it is I pop it through here, pick it up and pull it back, bring it over the front, and then you're almost creating yourself a little slip knot. So it's nicely attached to your bubble. So what you're going to do is you're going to chain yourself 1 just to give yourself a little bit of height, and then what we're going to do is we're going to do lots of half double crochets all the way around. So the half double crochet is simply yarning over, inserting, yarning over, pulling back through, 3 loops on your hook, yarning over and pulling through all 3. If you are new to crochet and you tend to crochet quite tight, you're probably going to need to loosen that tension up because pulling through 3 loops can be prone to splitting the stitch. So yarning over, inserting, yarning over, pulling back through, yarning over, giving yourself plenty of room to pull through all 3 loops on your hook. So yarning over, yarn over for 3 and pull through all 3 on your hook. So yarn over, insert, yarn over, pull back through for 3, yarn over and pull through all 3. We'll give that one more. Yarn over, insert, yarn over, pull back through, and it helps to really hold onto the bobble. Can you see what I'm doing here? I'm kind of holding it and trying to manipulate it. Ooh, a little rogue fibre there. Let's pop that one back on. So I'm yarning over, I'm holding on to this as I go under, and I'm holding on to it as I go back under, and then I'm grabbing it with my other finger here while I yarn over, and then I'm picking it back up, and then I'm pulling it through all 3. So there's no pattern to how many to do. It simply depends on how big your bubble is, and I would give them a tug and squish them all together as you go along, because you're going to want to make sure you get as many as you can onto this, that you've got yourself a nice fat juicy scrunchie. So let's continue with our half double crochets all the way around our bubble until we get to the other side. And that gives us plenty of time for lots of crochet ramblings. However, if you'd rather just get to the second row, I'll pop a little timestamp in this on the screen now. Oh, I love it. Don't you love it when you can just say things and things pop up? And there you go. So Easter Monday, households busy chilling. We've all done our jobs. What have you been up to this Easter break? No doubt you've all been staying at home. Any barbecues? Oh, can you hear that noise behind me? Yes, that's my cat. How many crocheters watching this video have cats? If you've got a cat, please pop a little cat emoji, or if you're on your keyboard, pop the word yes, I have a cat, because oh my gosh, how do you cope with them constantly wanting to attack your yarn and play with your yarn? I've even tried to give them like a little bit, go, oh, here's your little bit that you can play with, and there's lots of chomping and then sort of like gulp and no yarn. And we're obviously all hoping that the yarn does reappear at some point in the future. I mean, I wouldn't be without them, but anything that I do crochet certainly has to kind of probably have a cat allergy disclaimer on it, because there's definitely crocheted with love, but also crocheted with a lot of cat hair. I have a lot of lint rollers. In fact, I think I should start my own lint roller business, because my goodness, it's sort of like one at the bottom of the stairs, one in the car. I have rag dolls, and they're basically big clouds of fluff. Very beautiful. They do even have their own Instagram account. Yes, I am that person who has her animal Instagram account. If you're interested in following them, I will pop it in the description below for you to check out. Poppet and Moomin. My partner often tells his work friends their full names, which, not to stereotype men or anything, but he does work in construction, so you can imagine a big burly builder telling his co-workers on site that he's got a ragdoll called Poppet. Yeah, there's a little bit of banter that goes on there. So we're nearly back at the end. I'm going to try and squeeze quite a few more in here by... Oh, look, can you see it? I can get loads more in here. And I want this to be a really nice, full scrunchie. I haven't actually got a cream one, so I'm quite looking forward to the springtime. And I mean, you could do different colours, you could use some variegated thread, you could even change colour and do a different colour in row 2. I'm a big fan of plain colours at the moment. I like my neutrals, my creams, my stones and my mustards. So I think I'm just going to put one more stitch in here and then call it a day on row 1. So what we need to do is we need to pop a slip stitch into that very first stitch here. You see this one here that's rising to the top. We're going to pop our hook into that one. We're going to yarn over and pull through that stitch, and then we're going to take it and pull it straight through the stitch after. We're going to check that we haven't got it twizzled or anything, because that will be slightly annoying. Actually, we should have checked that it's not twizzled before we joined it. Small disclaimer there, because the last thing you want to do is it to spun round and then you've joined it with a twist on. So make sure that it's all nice and flat and join it together. So round 2, and I'm only going to do 2 rounds in this one, but you could do 3. You could have a really, really beefy scrunchie. So 1, 2, because we're going to be doing doubles. So the double crochet is yarning over, the same as the half double crochet, inserting our hook, and I'm going to insert into the space here. Can you see where the base of that chain 2 was? Yarn over and pull back through, 3 loops on the hook, but instead of yarning over and pulling through all 3 for the double, we make a slightly taller stitch. So we yarn over and we pull through the first 2, and then we yarn over and we pull through the second 2. And I'm going to make another stitch in exactly the same place. So we're going to yarn over, going to insert into the same space, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. And what you're going to do is you're going to place 3 double crochets in every single stitch all the way around, which probably will take you quite a little bit of time if you, depending on how many stitches you put in. So yarning over, inserting into the stitch, yarning over, pulling back through, yarning over 2, yarning over 2, yarning over into the stitch, pulling back through, yarning over 2, yarning over 2, yarning over, inserting again for that third one into that stitch, yarning over 2, yarning over 2. So 3 stitches in every one. Okay, 3 double crochets in every one. Now this is probably going to take me quite a long time, and I'm not sure I've got enough ramblings to talk about as we go through the whole way, and I'm not sure whether or not you would want to listen to my random crochet musings. There is one thing that I'm really interested actually as we do our 3 double crochets in, and that's the topic of crochet hooks. Now, ooh, look at that, the knot of doom, as I like to call it. It's like when you're trying to untangle jewellery in your jewellery case. Oh, who's got, comment if you've got necklaces that you've just put away to untangle for another day. I know that feeling well. We digress. Crochet hooks. So I use predominantly these Clover Soft Touch. It's one of the first ones I bought, and I can't tell you where or when I learnt to crochet and why I hold my crochet hook in what's known as the pencil hold. I've read that it's 50-50 with the pencil hold and the knife hold, like this. However, every magazine, every picture, every YouTube video I watch, everyone else seems to use the pencil hold. Sorry, they seem to use the knife hold, and I've read the pros and cons of, you know, wrist strain, arm strain and things like that. Now, I'm not particularly too bothered that I use the pencil hold. It works for me. I've tried to learn the other way, and I have persevered, but after, you know, I've been crocheting for nearly 20 years, it doesn't want to sink in. So I'm quite happy with that. However, there doesn't appear to be an abundance of pretty crochet hooks made ergonomically for those using the pencil hold. Now, if you're a crocheter into crochet hooks, you will know the name furls. Oh my goodness, they are some of the prettiest, and you know that there can be a pretty penny to buy them, sort of like 15 to 50 pounds. And yet everybody that uses them seems to use the knife hold. And I believe the gentleman that created them made them for his partner, wife, girlfriend, whatever at the time, who was struggling with her wrists, to alleviate by giving her something more to grip onto. So she's got sort of like a bigger section here to hold so that she's not straining, and there's very scientific methods he talks about with the ligaments and things, and they just look beautiful. Now, I've tried, I bought some because I thought, oh, I can't really use this on an Instagram photo, you know, aesthetically pleasing and everything. I'll get some fancy wooden furls crochet hooks so that I can lay them down in my images. I tried to crochet using this method, and my goodness, it's sort of like I'm holding this bit at the end, and then there's this huge bit here that's really quite heavy and doesn't work. And so in the end I just went back to I've split my stitch there, can you see? And I would recommend pulling it down if you do that, because it just can look really untidy at the end, and you'll kick yourself if you didn't do it. So, yes, are there pretty, I mean, Clover Soft Touch are some of the most amazing ones, but my goodness, I wish they came in a slightly different colour. It's sort of like holding a piece of toffee, and, you know, I like toffee, but, you know, just the thought of a hook in a slightly different finish or a slightly different colour. I mean, there are cheaper alternatives and dupes to these which I have bought, and whilst, yes, the handles might be, you know, a really nice coral colour, the quality of this and the quality of the hook is nowhere near the quality of this one. And this, like I say, paired with this Sidar #1 Chunky, just absolutely glides. So yeah, what hold are you? Are you a knife hold? Are you a pencil hold? And what is your hook that you like to use? And is there anybody that uses the pencil hold that, you know, has found a pretty hook or just something that fits them really well? I'm thinking maybe some of those bamboo ones or some wooden ones. I mean, you don't want something too thin, but you don't want something too thick. And I think it's about the weight, you know, sort of like the weight ratio to where you're holding it, where you're balancing it. It's a bit like, you know, within you have a samurai sword, don't you? And you can hold it there and it stays there because it's kind of perfectly weighted. It's almost like you want the same in a crochet hook, not too heavy on the end, but certainly, I mean, it's not important, is it, how pretty a crochet hook is, but it's a little bit important. It's a little bit. We all want to have, you know, pretty tools, and you know, people need things to be able to buy us for our birthdays and you know, Christmas. So let's carry on. We're nearly, well, we're not even halfway round. So crochet hooks, yes. What do you use and what do you like? I'd love to know. So I'm going to finish up here. I'm going to carry on doing my 3 double crochets in every half double crochet all the way around, and I will meet you back at the beginning. Yay, so I've made it round to the other end, and now we're going to fasten off. So what we're going to do is we're going to locate the first top of the first stitch of the previous round, and we're going to insert our hook, pull through, pull straight through that one for a slip stitch. And then what we're going to do is we're going to get our trusty scissors and snip off. Now what I like to do is I like to then pull through the loop there, because it just secures a little bit of a better knot at the top than if we just pulled through the very last stitch. So with our trusty darning needles, and if you haven't heard me rave about these already, then please do check out the link in the description to them on Amazon. They are one of the best buys I ever bought in terms of a set of darning needles. So pop that onto there, and all we're going to do is we're just going to take this down to meet this one here. So we just pop it through here like this, and about there will do. Pull that through, take our needle out, always back into the pot, which is fab, stops them going down the side of the sofa. And then to make this nice and washing machine friendly, we're going to just place a couple of knots, and you can pull quite tight. Don't worry if kind of ruffles the shape of the scrunchie up, because it's meant to be ruffled. That's going to be the beauty of it. And I like to place 3. And then what I do is I don't actually cut all the way to the knot. I'll leave myself maybe 2 mil, because that is going to get hidden and tucked away. And then I'm going to be winding it around my hair like this. And I mean, look at that. It's almost like a beautiful little rose. And you have yourself a crochet scrunchie. So I'd love it if you had any crochet scrunchie creations of yourself. Please do tag me on Instagram over at Crochet and Tea. I'd love to see what you've made, and obviously you wearing them. I mean, how cute would 2 of those look with, you know, a little cute pair of space buns? Oh, just amazing. So thank you ever so much for watching. I post new videos every Friday. If you would like to be notified, please do subscribe and hit that bell button. And for now, happy hooking, and I'll see you soon. Bye.